Barnaby Banana. Bob wasn't having much luck. His bananas were flops. They were too small. They were too brown. No matter how hard he tried, they just wouldn't grow the way he wanted. Nobody wanted to buy them. They sat on the market stall, ignored and unwanted.
What am I going to do? How can I make my bananas better?
Barnaby sighed deeply, feeling the weight of his banana troubles. He sat on a crate of unsold bananas. His stomach rumbled. He ate a banana. It was mushy. Barnaby's farm was small and his resources were limited. It was right next to Mr. Bigglesworth's farm. Mr. Bigglesworth was fancy and successful. He had a fancy hat that he wore proudly. He even had a fancy monocle that made him look important. But mostly, Mr. Bigglesworth had fancy bananas. They were the talk of the town.
Golden bananas, everyone shouted with excitement.
They were big and yellow, the perfect bananas. They shimmered in the sun. Everybody wanted golden bananas. They were the envy of all the farmers.
I wish I had golden bananas, if only my bananas were like that.
Barnaby grumbled, feeling frustrated and defeated. One day, Barnaby saw a truck. It was a big, shiny truck. It was full of golden bananas, the very ones he envied. It was leaving Mr. Bigglesworth's farm. Barnaby had an idea, a bad idea, but an idea nonetheless.
I'm going to steal those golden bananas. This could be my chance to finally succeed.
That night, Barnaby snuck out of his house, making sure not to wake anyone. He tiptoed past Mr. Bigglesworth's house, careful not to make a sound. He reached the banana truck. It was locked. He tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge.
Blast, this is harder than I thought.
Whispered Barnaby. He jiggled the handle again. It still wouldn't budge. Then Barnaby saw it. A small window was open a crack, just enough for him to squeeze through.
Perfect, this is my chance.
He thought for a moment, planning his next move. He squeezed through the window, careful not to make any noise. He landed with a thud on top of the bananas. They squished under him, releasing a sweet aroma. Barnaby looked around. There were golden bananas everywhere. They smelled delicious. Barnaby's mouth watered at the sight and smell, but he had a plan. He needed to stay focused. He pulled out a sack from his backpack. He started stuffing it with rotten bananas from his farm, hoping no one would notice the switch.
This is going to be great. I'll finally get what I deserve.
Barnaby whispered to himself, feeling a rush of excitement. He imagined everyone buying his golden bananas. He'd be rich beyond his wildest dreams. He'd finally be able to buy a fancy hat, the one he'd always wanted. Barnaby carefully swapped the golden bananas, making sure no one was watching. He put the rotten bananas in their place, hoping they wouldn't be noticed right away. He filled his sack with the golden bananas. It was heavy, but he managed to lift it. He peeked out the window. The coast was clear, and he felt a rush of excitement. Barnaby threw the sack out the window, making sure it landed softly. He climbed out after it. He landed with a thump, but quickly got up. He looked back at the truck. He grinned, feeling victorious.
See you later, Mr. Bigglesworth, he called out cheerfully.
He said. He slung the heavy sack over his shoulder and hurried away, eager to get home. He didn't notice the pair of eyes watching him. Polly, Mr. Bigglesworth's parrot, had seen everything from her perch. She squawked loudly and flapped her wings, trying to alert her owner.
Golden bananas, she cried out, hoping someone would hear her.
Barnaby was almost home. He could taste victory. He could almost taste those golden bananas. Suddenly he heard a familiar voice.
Golden bananas.
Polly was circling overhead.
Oh no,
Barnaby whispered. He knew Polly liked to gossip. She couldn't keep a secret, especially not a secret about bananas. Barnaby tried to run, but Polly was faster. She swooped down and grabbed his hat.
Give me back my hat, Polly.
Barnaby cried. He chased Polly around a tree. He tripped on a banana peel. The sack flew into the air. The sack ripped open as it landed. Golden bananas tumbled out. They rolled down a hill. At the bottom of the hill was a troop of monkeys. They went wild for the golden bananas. Monkeys were grabbing bananas. Monkeys were throwing bananas. Monkeys were even wearing bananas on their heads. Barnaby watched in despair. His plan was ruined. He sighed. He sat down on the ground. A small monkey approached him. It offered him a golden banana.
Size.
Barnaby smiled. He took the banana. It was the best banana he'd ever tasted. The next morning, Barnaby went to see Mr. Bigglesworth. He confessed everything. He even brought back the remaining golden bananas. Mr. Bigglesworth was surprisingly understanding.
Barnaby, those monkeys stole my entire breakfast this morning.
Barnaby and Mr. Bigglesworth shared a laugh. They realized they had more in common than they thought. They both loved bananas. From that day on, they decided to be friends. They even started working together. They combined their farms. And guess what? They started making the best-selling bananas in the world. The end.